gonna talk about arc-tempered monsters and just what I think about them, my overall opinions on them, and I'm just gonna be talking about the base world ones. I'm not gonna worry about the Iceborne ones because I just have this weird completionist mindset that, you know, I have to do this before going on to the next thing, and I'm just weird like that about it. So, I guess here we go. What are arc-tempered? Arc-tempered monsters are what happens when video game code becomes sentient and just decides to do a trillion damage. All the arc-tempereds make me feel like I want to die. I really don't like living in a world where we live, you know, in tandem with arc-tempered monsters in the base game of world, but I mean, this is the universe we have, so you gotta work with it. And I'm just gonna give a few rundown points on what I think about each of them and why basically all of them are terrible. Also, Cove is very obviously excluded from this list. First off is A.T. Kieran. He has this, it's like this raged up, amped up state. I can't tell the difference between the red eye and the amped up state, but apparently he has some amped up state. But other than that, the fight is literally the same. Slashing weapons are basically useless, and blunt weapons are your best friend. That's all you really need to know. He still does a lot of damage. He's still infuriating to hit. He's, you know, your regular old Kieran. With Kushala, the only difference is that you can't flash pot him down, and he just does more damage, which, I mean, it's Kushala. Like, the fight's just more infuriating, if anything. It's honestly just a test of patience. In the end, it's not even a real fight. And, Zora Magdaros, who, I mean, you can fail it now. It's actually kind of hard, but, is it hard enough to where it's unacceptable levels of frustrating? No, it's just harder and, you know, difficult. That's about it. The issue I have with all of these monsters is that they don't really do anything to add to the fight. They don't really make it interesting or funner or more enjoyable. It's just, oh, okay, that's kind of neat. And then you realize that the fight just becomes even more frustrating, which is, it's always fun. Like, Zora, you used to just wait out Nergigante, and then while you're, like, breaking the cores, you would just leave on his own time. Now you actually gotta fight him. And it's like, oh, I actually have to do something about this. Like, crap. It doesn't do anything. Before I move on to the completely infuriating monsters, I want to kind of slide in A.T. Xeno real quick. Just saying, like, that is an enjoyable fight. That really adds a lot to the original fight. I feel like it's a lot faster, a lot more enjoyable, and I actually have fun with it. I don't feel like I'm slogging through the Kushala fight for 30 minutes, right? For no reason. I feel like I'm actually engaged with him. He's harder, but he takes a hell of a lot more damage. And it's just a lot of fun doing Xeno. I really think that fight had a lot of potential, and I was frustrated that was the final fight, but this completely redeems it. I had a lot of fun with how quick he was, and not just standing there going, was just great. All right. Oh, next is the two fire kitties and Valhazak. The kittens aren't honestly the worst thing in the world. It's just they do so much damage and attack so frequently, it gets ridiculous. Lunastra needs no explanation. That thing is like Pain incarnate. If Pain took the form of a fire cat, it'd be Lunastra. Everything about that fight just becomes more miserable, more infuriating, more annoying. It doesn't really add to the enjoyment of the fight at all. I will say, though, my opinions on the OG one have changed, because this one was just that infuriating to do. The blue fire gets out of hand to the point where Heat Guard is basically mandatory to win. And the same kind of goes for Teostra. You get fire blighted so many times to the point where you have to basically have 20 fire res. And if you don't, you're completely screwed. The blast blight is ridiculous. The amount of stunning he does is crazy. It makes you have to rebuild completely for defense. With these two, you're building solely for defense. You're just trying to live the next attack. That's all you're trying to do in this fight. And it's really infuriating. As for Vol is the same thing, but dialed up to 13. the effluvia damage gets to a point where you're literally sitting there eating nullberries like it's your last day on the planet, and you're drinking potions to the point where you basically run out of honey and like craftables to make megapots anymore. You're just chugging down on the miscellaneous potions you just have rotting there since the beginning of the game. It's absurd how much effluvium he afflicts, and it's like, oh, Odogaron's like, what is Odogaron gonna do for you? Odogaron will just take a little nibble out of him and then what? Just fall to the floor. Vol is insane. Absolutely ridiculous. I still haven't done it, and I can't. I have full effluvia resistance, and I just cannot bear it. It's insane. He just does too much too quick, and like I want to see I want to see somebody just do it no hit. I'm actually curious if it's even possible to do that fight no hit. It's just the amount of the Fluvia tick it's too much. And at the end is the mother of all ATs, AT Nergigante. I actually think this fight is good. I think it's well designed. I think it's interesting. I think it adds a lot more to Nerg, because before it's like, oh, he'd hit you. It's like, okay, I mean, he does damage, but not enough to really startle me. And I get that a lot of the other ones are like that too, but Nerg was the fight that definitely suffered the most from lack of damage after you've beaten it, because you got hit a lot, but he wasn't doing the damage, unlike Teostra and Lunastra, who were hitting you hard, but it's not like their moves were unavoidable. Like, it was pretty easy to beat regular Teostra, regular Lunastra, and even dodging their moves on the fly is pretty easy. But even just trying to only dodge the moves of both monsters aren't even that bad, as long as you have heat guard or full fire res. It's not the worst thing in the world, and honestly, I think without optimizing, it's doable. This is a fight you need to optimize for. This is a fight you need freaking mega armor skin and mega like demon drug. It's insane how much damage Nerg does, and it's crazy how fast he attacks. Just one slide off his back is enough to cut away a third of your health bar with health boost. It's ballistic, and I love it. I think the dive move is a little cheap, but at the same time, that fight would have been too much of a joke after maybe like even 4 or 5 attempts. So I understand the reason of adding something to spice it up, and it was the last Dark Tempered, so it makes sense. But oh my god, it's just I forgot how exhilarating that fight was to do. Like, you know, in the moment after you've done like 12 hunts of it, you don't really care about, you know, how fast Nerg moves, but it kind of took me back. I don't know why I'm sounding nostalgic about it, but it took me back to when I was first doing that fight and just getting my ass handed to me every single attempt, but every time I got better and better at reading the moves over and over again, just sitting there banging my head against this wall of a creature until finally it cracked. And I forgot, like, that's the spirit of Monster Hunter, you know, getting your ass just demolished, wiped the floor with, and then you slowly just getting better and better until you get to a point where you're doing these things like with your hands tied behind your back and you're just using your feet. It really reminded me what this game was. I forgot that, you know, raging at this game, being a complete rageaholic, it's not what this game is about. It's not about throwing your controller. It's about taking that fat L and just getting better and better and better with each hunt. But I'm really happy that now going to Iceborne, it's like, you know, granted I haven't done everything, but I finally remembered why I enjoyed playing this game and getting up every day, playing for like 6-7 hours just continuously, because I just wanted to get better and better and improve like as a hunter, right? And I think that spirit of the game gets lost somewhere between like grinding for all the weapons you want and all the armor pieces you want. Like, if you're a bow player, your life is basically just a grind. That's all it is.
right? I would know. And I don't know, the feeling of enjoying the game because you suck at the moment and knowing that you'll get better later on and respecting that enjoyment and striving for it, that kind of enjoyment just fell off somewhere. And I don't know, I got it back, which I think is really, really poetic. But yeah, that's what I think about Arc Temper. It's 90% of them are complete garbage, but the two monsters that do slap, I mean, wow, there's something special. I really enjoy both AT Xeno and AT Nurg. I think they're both special fights. I haven't beaten both of them yet, but I mean, I've tried, and I got my ass handed again, but I didn't cry about it. I didn't bitch about it. I just kind of moved on with my life, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna try again, and I got better and better, and I only expect myself to get better with it from here on out. So yeah, Arc Tempers are okay. Could be better, and that's about it. Peace out.